especially the rule is like if the person is known, then you can ask them to leave. But if the person is unknown, you have to allow them to stay. What logic was that? What kind of a living room that you want to imitate with the it's like the completely opposite rationale for compared to the old rationale.
I agree with you. And by the way, it's Adrian Dittman. It's not Adam Dittman. It's Adrian Dittman is the guy's name. Look him up. Dox him. Tell your friends. Anyway, all right. Let's try to ignore him. Look, to me, there's nothing that we say in here that would be either embarrassing or useful to anybody else. So, it's just the idea that bothers me more than anything. So, all right, so it's today. Why don't we get the New York stuff out of the way first? Oh, is Scotty here? Good, Scotty's here. All right, today is, I guess this is it for the primaries. I'm still confused as to, how the ranked choice voting, because, is this a day of voting, and then when you say it's going to go into different levels, it's just whoever I don't understand. Is there like a second or third vote before the general election, or is this it for the primary?
This is it.
This is it. So, except that it takes a week potentially for them to roll it all out to figure out if nobody gets 51%, they have to figure out who in an aggregate comes out. Is that basically it?
Yeah, Scotty might be voting now because he was on his way to the polls, so he just dropped off. But yes, if someone doesn't get 50% in the first round, it runs through various tabulations with the votes. They all get rechecked.
My prediction is that in the general election, you will have Curtis Sliwa, who's this bizarro
guardian angel Republican.
Very right-wing Republican, and under any circumstances, he's going to lose. And he's run like 4 or 5 times, and he always loses. And look, New York is very much overly a Democratic city. And if you win a Democratic primary, with rare exception. Now, with that said, Bloomberg did was a Democrat, an Independent, and a Republican. Ran in all 3 capacities in one.
Yep.
So did Giuliani, by the way.
And so did Giuliani, was a Democrat turned Republican. And Lindsey won, and he was a Republican. So it's not like there weren't Republicans that lost. But even the Republicans, at the time they were Republicans, they were really sort of moderate Republicans. They actually, in comparison to the rest of the country, the moderate New York Republican was really a moderate Democrat.
But then there's the election you're forgetting about in the history of New York, okay, before you think Sliwa can't win.
Yeah.
Okay. Is 1970 U.S. Senate election that elected Buckley. No, Buckley, 1970. Buckley's brother. William F. Buckley was James Buckley's brother. That was because...
that's the thing, is that this idea of splitting your party can...
Exactly, because that was a situation, if you get enough Democrats or near Democrats running on whatever line they're running on, you can elect a kind of more conservative Republican. So Cuomo's has a line he can run on in November, even if he loses the Democrat primary. So does this other guy who's his near contender.
Yeah, they both.
And then Eric Adams is going to be running as an independent. Yeah. So you would have a split vote.
I think no matter what happens in the primary, I think it's going to be a 4-way race in the general. It's going to be the Republican, it's going to be Eric Adams, and then it'll be either Cuomo or Mondami will win the primary, but the one that loses will continue to run in a minor party. So you're going to have 4 candidates no matter what at the end of the day.
And Cuomo will be the independent, and Mondami the working family.
Is it ranked choice voting in the general?
No.
Oh, so it's only ranked choice voting in the primary.
I'm going to verify. I think. Oh, yes, you're correct.
It's only ranked choice in the primary, Steve.
And if no candidate gets 50% in the general, they're still